In our last video, we did a cold start using the electric starter. Of course, this car also came with a hand crank as well. We're going to cheat a little bit today now that we've already done the cold start. The car's already ran once for the day, make it a little easier. This car does have these little primer cups on top of the cylinders. Used to have a little syringe you could put fuel in those to make it a little easier to do a cold start when you're using the can crank if your battery was dead. Um, Today the car's already ran for the day, so we'll just go ahead and use the hand crank and it should fire right up. I keep the hand crank in a little bag in the back of the car just to keep the carpet from getting dirty. So all we're going to do here, we're going to turn the ignition on. I'll just pull the choke a little bit. The car's been sitting for a little while. And throttle cracked open, spark vents all the way down. We'll shake the gear shifter as to not run ourselves over. The hand crank has a little cap here that covers the hole to keep all the oil in from leaking out of the front of the car. You just put the crank in the hole, find the notches on the crankshaft, and one thing you want to make sure you do is you keep your fingers on top of the crank. So if the car were to backfire, the crank will come out of your hands rather than come towards your hands. You never want to grab the crank with a closed hand. You can get the chauffeur's collarbone, is what they call it, when the car backfires and breaks your collarbone. This car's never done that, luckily. Yeah. And again, just like starting it with the starter, once she's running, we just move the spark advance forward. And that brings it to a nice smooth idle. It's as easy as that. Once it gets warm, we just move the choke in a little bit, just like we did before. And that's all there is to it, to our hand cranking. We'll go ahead and move the spark advance back down, slow the engine down, and turn it off with the ignition.